The first light switch. Up, top right, left. It's on.
It's on. Next time.
Assalamualaikum.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله خالق الوجود من العدم وجاعل النور من الظلم ومخرج الصبر من الألم وملقي التوبة على الندم فنشكره على المصائب كما نشكره على النعم ونصلي على رسوله الأكرم للشرف الأشم والنور الأتم والكتاب المحكم وكمال النبيين والخاتم سيد ولد آدم الذي بشر به عيسى بن مريم ودعا لبعثته إبراهيم عليه السلام حين كان يرفع قواعد بيت الله المحرم فصلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أتباعه خير الأمم الذين بارك الله بهم كافة الناس العرب منهم والعجم. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. والحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. والحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدًا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله الله تعالى بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. وصلى الله عليه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. قال الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تكونوا كالذين كفروا وقالوا لإخوانهم إذا ضربوا في الأرض أو كانوا غزا لو كانوا عندنا ما ماتوا وما قتلوا ليجعل الله ذلك حسرة في قلوبهم والله يحيي ويميت والله بما تعملون بصير ولئن قتلتم في سبيل الله أو متم لمغفرة من الله ورحمة خير مما يجمعون ولئن متم أو قتلتم لإلى الله تحشرون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم ثبتنا عند الموت بلا إله إلا الله اللهم اجعلنا من الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر آمين يا رب العالمين. Allah Azza wa Jalla describes many aspects of the events that took place in the life of the Prophet ﷺ. And one of the episodes that was very difficult was what happened at Uhud. The second time Muslims and the Quraysh went at it against each other. It was a very difficult occasion, especially for the Prophet himself ﷺ, not just because of the losses felt of the Muslims generally, but his family also, his own uncle, and the brutal way in which he was killed. At that occasion, Allah decided to describe what happened at Uhud in great detail, a commentary from Allah on how to think about what's transpired. And much of that commentary is found in Surah Al-Imran. And in this surah, Allah describes how should Muslims deal with tragedy. Because this was a tragedy. This was something that paralyzed the Muslims, and they were demoralized by what had happened. Because after the victory of Badr, it was almost reversed. And to the point where, if some of you may not know, in this particular battle, the rumor was even spread that the Prophet has been killed, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in fact, he was injured, he was hit, and he fell unconscious. And seeing him that way from a distance, many companions actually believed that he's fallen in battle. And so that created another kind of catastrophe and disaster among the Muslims. In any case, Allah Azza wa Jalla comments on many aspects of how, even a terrible tragedy is an opportunity for guidance. And one of the things that we should think about when it comes to guidance is guiding our thoughts. Allah does not just guide our actions. This is halal and this is haram. Do this and don't do this. But a lot of the Quran is also dedicated to teaching us how to think about something. People can experience the same exact event, but think about it differently. Human beings process information differently. As a matter of fact, even right now, as you're sitting here listening to me and looking at me, the way your eyes and ears process what I have to say, different people are thinking different things. Some people are thinking, what's he going to say next? Some people are thinking, why is he giving khutbah? Some people are thinking, what am I going to have for lunch afterwards? This is what's going on in their head. People process things differently. But Allah Azza wa Jalla wants us to take an event that's taken place, that has hurt you, that has hurt me. And He wants us to think about it a certain way. And He wants to prevent us from thinking the wrong way. That's part of guidance. That's part of the role of the Quran. And that's a small bit of that is what I wanted to share with you today. In light of what's happened, in light of the senseless killing that's happened of Muslims, that we're going to pray inside of a masjid, which doesn't make any sense. And especially if it doesn't make sense for you and me, we can't even begin to imagine the pain of a child who will never see their father again, or their mother again. Or a mother who hugged her child and let her go to school, and they went to Jumu'ah, and that was the end of it, and they'll never see them again. People that will never see their parents again. People that will never see their spouse again, their brother again, their sister again, their best friend again. People that were such a part of their life that it was as much a part of them as breathing, as eating every day. And all of a sudden they've disappeared, they're gone. The first thing before I get into these ayat is to remind myself and you that all human beings are dependent. All human beings. Allah Azza wa Jalla did not make us ghani. Wallahu al-ghani wa antumul fuqara. Allah is the one who doesn't need. We are the ones that are bankrupt. We're always in need. We're in need of money. We're in need of health. We're in need of each other. We're in need of support. We're in need of protection. We're in need of dignity. We're constantly in all kinds of needs. But you know what happens with those needs? Sometimes the thing we believe we needed the most, that we couldn't live without, Allah takes it away. Just to remind us, first of all, just to remind us how dependent we are. But also to remind us at the same time how strong we are. Many of us, our parents are alive. And many of you sitting here, your parents are no longer alive. And you know, one of the reasons, of the many reasons that some people are alive and some people are not alive, from your own life, the people in my life and the people in your life are a kind of rizq, they're a kind of provision. And Allah will not give us a difficulty except that we can handle it. Not too long ago, my sister passed away. And I couldn't stop. I still can't stop contemplating about what's happened in my family and the passing of my beloved sister. And I think about her daughter. This child who's just, barely lived any life, is not going to see her mother again. And I realize something. Allah does not test anyone with more than they can handle. La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. That's Allah's promise. You know what that means? That the blessing that my parents are still alive means Allah knows that I could not have handled that. But she can. She's stronger than I am. Allah knows that her capacity to bear with that pain is more than my capacity to bear with that pain. And so Allah Azza wa Jal takes who He does, knowing who is connected to them. The person who's lost at the time are paralyzed and they can't think anything. How am I going to live? How's my life going to move on? And that pain is unbearable. That pain is not a small thing. That pain is something even the Prophet felt sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Am al-Huzn, when his wife passed away, when his uncle passed away. In this case, when Hamza radiallahu ta'ala who passed away. The grief and the pain of someone passing away, and even more so someone being killed, is unimaginable. And it's not something that we dismiss lightly. But even in the hardest of times when our emotions are shaken in this way, Allah gives His words of relief. And so what is and sometimes in those times, you need to hear some reality check. And I need to hear some reality check. And that's what Allah gives us in these ayat. He first says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَقَالُوا لِإِخْوَانِهِمْ إِذَا ضَرَبُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ أَوْ كَانُوا غُزًّى لَوْ كَانُوا عِنْدَنَا مَا مَاتُوا وَمَا قُتِلُوا. Those of you who've claimed to believe and those of you who've accepted the faith, don't be like people who have no faith. Don't be like people who don't believe. Of course we're not like them. Why is He saying don't be like them? Don't be like them in the way they think. Now what is the way that they think? What Allah says is, when their family members, when their loved ones die, or when they go into battle, or they go into somewhere where they lost their life, they say about themselves, لَوْ كَانُوا عِنْدَنَا مَا مَاتُوا وَمَا قُتِلُوا. If they only stayed home, if they only stayed with us, they wouldn't have been killed today. They would have been okay. Why did they have to go today? Why did it have to happen today? Why did that car accident have to go? I told him not to go today. Why did he take that flight? Why did he have to go to that masjid? Why couldn't he go to another masjid? And so the question of why? Why them and why not me? Allah first says this why, looking back and thinking that things could have been different, don't be like those who don't believe. What does this have to do with belief? Understand this first. I remind myself and I remind you. The moment that you and I were born was decided by Allah. The moment that we would come out of our mothers was decided by Allah. Every breath we take in and every breath we take out is decided by Allah. The day that will be the last breath of my life is decided by Allah. The way it will go is decided by Allah. Which patch of earth am I going to join, which hole of the earth I'm going to be put inside, has been decided by Allah. Or whether that's going to be in the depths of an ocean, that's been decided by Allah. None of this happens outside of Allah's decision. And Allah's decision, وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا. The way Allah does things, you will not find any change. This decree, قُلْ لَوْ كُنْتُمْ فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ لَبَرَزَ الَّذِينَ كُتِبَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْقَتْلُ فِي مَضَاجِعِهِمْ. Allah says, even if you stayed at home, if you were supposed to be killed, the murder would have made its way all the way into your bed. It would have made its way all the way into your bed. Very recently, I was visiting some friends, and they told me a story, and I'd like to share it with you. A family friend of theirs, he was supposed to get on a flight, and his wife had a bad feeling, and she said, don't get on the flight. Don't go on the plane. And so he said, oh, okay, and he listens to his wife, and he got a little bit annoyed because he's missing out on business, but he decided not to take the flight. That plane crashed. And when that plane crashed, she's watching it on the news. You saw the recent plane crash news. And she rushes to tell her husband in bed, who's sleeping, look, Allah saved us. And when she went into the bed, he was already dead. He was already dead. When Allah decided His time, that was His time. The way He was going to go was decided by Allah. So for any one of us who believes, as much as we love, as much as we care, as much as we are broken by tragedy, we have to remind ourselves in the depths of our hearts that you and I, not just the ones we love, you know, sometimes we say, why did Allah take this person away from me? They were mine, why did Allah take them away? Even this kind of thinking, we have to take a step back and remind ourselves, no one is mine. No one belongs to me. As a matter of fact, the moment someone dies, our first phrase is to remind ourselves that we only belong to Allah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Reminds us, forget the person who died, even we belong to Allah. And even we are going to be returned back to Him. So what of the one that we love? If I myself don't even own myself, I cannot own or have stakes or claims on anyone else. There is no such thing as Allah took them away from me, because they weren't mine to begin with. The people that we have in our family today are gifts that are being loaned to us from Allah. That's all they are, gifts that are loaned to us from Allah. And Allah will decide whether we will be taken out of their life first or they will be taken from our life first. That's the only difference. That is the only thing. But that's the reality you and I have to accept. And so Allah says here, don't be like them who said, if they stayed back, they wouldn't have been killed. They wouldn't have died. لِيَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ ذَلِكَ حَسْرَةً فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ. Allah says, Allah put that there so that they can keep feeling bad in their hearts about the what if and the what if and the what if. What if things were different? What if this didn't happen? What if that didn't happen? And you know what? This is exactly what a believer does not have. A believer remembers Allah and remembers the decision of Allah and reminds themselves that no matter how much I love my sister, or somebody loved their daughter or their son or their father or their mother, no matter how much we can love someone, the one who loves them far more, and the one who put that love in them, in my heart, that love doesn't even belong to me. Allah put that love inside me. And the one who owns that love, and the one who has far more love than I can ever possess, they went back to the one who loves them more. They went back to the one who cares for them more. They went back to the one who will protect them better than we could ever protect them. They went back to the one who will take away their pain like we could never take away their pain. Allah created human beings in kabad. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي kabad. Allah created human beings in difficulty. They say kabad, you know, among its meanings is ghillah, shiddah, like it's extreme, it's hard, life is tough. Those wonderful people that went to Friday prayer that day, how many problems did they have? How many stresses did they have? What concerns were they thinking about? What bills, what health concerns, what family issues were going on in their heads? And now all of a sudden Allah has removed all of their burdens. All of them. All of them are gone. How many of them were thinking about sins they may have committed in the past and whether or not Allah will forgive? And Allah opened a door for them to walk straight into Jannah. To walk straight into Jannah on a day of Friday in His house to be taken. We theoretically make dua that Allah grant us shahada in His path. You know, we theoretically, and those people got to live that dua. The people who think they attacked them and hurt them and destroyed them have no idea what they've done. They have no idea what they've done. Though, you know, it's remarkable the wisdom of Allah. The people who wanted to destroy them are the reason they are successful. And the people that are successful are the reason these people will burn. They become each other, they get the exact, and the believers get everything they want. They get everything they want. And so now what I want to share with you is just this one ayah about those who die in Allah's path. And that is not limited to the battlefield. If someone lived a life, you know, and they were killed, especially in this ayah, they were killed in Allah's path. What does Allah say about it? لا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أموات. Don't you dare assume that people who were killed in Allah's path are dead. The language of Allah is so strong in this ayah, لا تحسبن. Don't you dare ever even think that those people are dead. Forget saying that they're dead. We can't even think that they're dead. We're not even allowed to think that they're dead. That's Quran. لا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء. No, instead they're alive. عند ربهم يرزقون. They are in the company of their master, being fed, being provided for. Immediately. We're not talking about one day when they enter Jannah. Allah says about these people, they are immediately in the company of Allah and they are being fed, they're being provided for, they're being taken care of. So we don't even dare think that this is a tragedy for them. This is a tragedy for those who are left behind. This is difficult for those who they no longer get to see in this world. The ones that are still alive. But the ones that are gone, it's not a tragedy for them at all. Not for any one of them. This is Allah guiding our thoughts. You know, the news will tell us those are the victims. Those are the victims. We should feel sorry for them. And Allah will tell us we should be jealous of them. They're the ones that are appreciating life. They're the ones that are being provided for in ways we can only hope for, we can only dream of. أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون فرحين بما آتاهم الله من فضله. Allah says they are overjoyed. You know, farh in Arabic is one of the words for joy, but it's also used for, you know, qulubul ghalid min al-jaw. Like when you take, like a potato is hard on the inside, when they scoop the inside of the potato out, it's actually from the same origin of the word farh. The idea is a person has a lot of grief inside them, problems inside them, stress, anxiety, you know, depression, whatever hard feelings you have inside you, whatever pains you're carrying in your life, when those are scooped out of you and you just feel light and you feel happy, that's actually called farh. And he says about those people that are right now in the company of Allah because they were killed in His path, He said they are filled with joy and all of their sorrow has been scooped out of them. There is no ounce of sadness left in them. فَرِحِينَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. They are overjoyed over what Allah has given them from His favor. In other words, they're not crying that they miss their family. Their family's crying that they miss them, but they're not crying. Because what Allah gave them is making them so happy right now. They're so happy right now. And by the way, you might wonder, even at the Battle of Badr, when some of the companions were lying there on the battlefield, apparently dead, and we don't dare say they're dead. We don't dare say they're dead. And these ayat had not been revealed yet because these had come in Uhud. And the Prophet ﷺ started talking to them. He's talking to those that are lying on the battlefield. And some of the companions said, why are you talking to them? They're dead. He said, بَلْهُمْ أَسْمَعُ مِنْكُمْ. They listen better than you can. They can hear better than you. That's what he told them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these people that are alive, that are being provided for, that are happy with what Allah has given them, فَرِحِينَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. We have to be, you know, when a family member, you have something good happen to them, when your son or your daughter graduate, when there's a marriage in the family, when there's a baby born, we're happy for people. Because Allah gave them something. And you know what? This is a call of Iman. As much as there is pain, over time that pain will be replaced with our Iman that Allah has given them so much better. Allah, the one who loves them more than a mother could love them, more than a father could love them, more than a brother or sister could love them. He has given them so much better, and then He has been fadlihi, out of His favor. In other words, not only what they deserve, but more than they deserve. Allah has given them extra, min fadlihi, additionally, from His additional benefits. And it's indescribable. Allah doesn't even put words on what is it that He gave them. فَرِحِينَ بِمَا أَتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. And then, if that's not the end of it, Allah then describes they're talking to each other. They're talking to each other. These shuhada. And what conversation are they having? What a terrible thing happened to us? No. وَيَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِالَّذِينَ لَمَّا يَلْحَقُوا بِهِمْ مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ. They're congratulating each other. They're feeling good about something. What are they feeling good about? They're congratulating each other about those who haven't even joined them yet, meaning the people in the world. They're actually can't wait to see them. I hope they make it too. And they're happy that there are other believers on their way to join them. If only they could see what we see. If only they could feel what we feel. SubhanAllah. This is فَرِحِينَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَيَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِالَّذِينَ لَمَّا يَلْحَقُوا مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ لَمْ يَلْحَقُوا مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ أَلَّا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. That they also are never going to have fear again. They're not going to have sadness again. And so Allah at the end adds, يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِنِعْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَفَضْلٍ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. They congratulate each other in this luxury that Allah has given them, the comforts that Allah has given them, the favor that Allah has given them. These aren't just words. They're not just words to make somebody feel better. For a believer, this is reality. This is more real than anything else. It's the actual life. The next life is the actual life. Sahaba were asking the Prophet ﷺ about these people who were killed, apparently killed and dead. What's going on with them if they are alive? And he said, أَرْوَاحُهُمْ فِي جَوْفِ طَيْرِ الْخُضْرِ لَهَا قَنَادِيلُ مُعَلَّقَةٌ بِالْعَرْشِ. Their souls are now inside of green birds. And they're flying around, and they have these homes, these lanterns that are hanging from the throne of Allah, from the Arsh itself. That's where they go. تَصْرَحُ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ حَيْثُ شَاءَتْ ثُمَّ تَأْوِي إِلَى تِلْكَ الْقَنَادِيلِ. They go fly around in heaven, in Jannah directly, wherever they want. And then they go take rest in those lanterns. فَطَّلَعَ إِلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ اطِّلَاعًا. So Allah, and by the way, some of you younger kids are like, I don't want to be a bird. I'd rather be a human. I don't want to live in a lantern. What's so great about that? Let's ask these people who are now living that life in heaven for now. Allah wants to know if they're happy, if they like something else. If they prefer something else, Allah will give them. So the hadith goes on to say, the Prophet ﷺ tells us that Allah then announces to them, هَلْ تَشْتَهُونَ شَيْئًا? Would you like anything? Do you want anything to be different? I mean, you've made it into heaven, you get whatever you want. So these souls that are now inside of birds flying around are being asked if they prefer anything. قَالُوا أَيُّ شَيْءٍ نَشْتَهِي وَنَحْنُ نَصْرَحُ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ حَيْثُ شِئْنَا. How can we want anything? We get to fly around in heaven, wherever we want to go. We have nothing left to desire. Allah asked them, you ask whatever you want, I'll give you. And they say, we couldn't want anything more. We're completely content. Allah asked them this multiple times. Once, twice, 3 times. فَفَعَلَ ذَلِكَ بِهِمْ 3 مَرَّاتٍ فَلَمَّا رَأَوْا أَنَّهُمْ لَنْ يُتْرَكُوا مِنْ أَنْ يُسْأَلُوا. Allah asked them this 3 times, and then when they saw that they're not going to be left alone, meaning Allah will keep asking them. Allah says, do you want anything else? They say, no, Ya Rabb, we're happy in Jannah. He says, do you want anything else? Do you want anything else? Do you want anything? Allah is not stopping. Allah keeps asking them. So now they feel the need to figure out something to say. What can we say? And they're using their imagination because their desires are not coming up with anything. So they have to come up with some answer to Allah. And so they say, Ya Rabb, nuridu an tarudda arwahana fi ajsadina hatta nuqtala fi sabilik marratan ukhra. My Master, if you could just return our souls back to our bodies so we can get killed again another time. That's all they can come with. After being asked multiple times, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Would they rather go back to what the world sees as a tragedy? Because the world sees reality from the seen, and Allah shows us reality from the unseen. These people have crossed that curtain. On the other side of that curtain, they see what things really are like. So they're not deceived by what the eyes see in this world. They see reality for what it truly is. And so what makes everybody else cry makes them laugh. What everybody else is devastated about, they have a completely different point of view. Completely different point of view. وَيُعَلِّمُكُم مَا لَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah teaches you what you could never have known yourself. That point of view, that angle, we cannot have because we're not on the other side. That only they can have. And Allah's Messenger is providing us a window. فَلَمَّا رَأَى لَيْسَ لَهُمْ حَاجَةٌ تُرِكُوا. Then Allah sees. Allah is satisfied that they don't want anything. Then they're left to be in Jannah. SubhanAllah. This is the people that are killed in Allah's path. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant them Jannah. May Allah Azza wa Jal ease the suffering and the pain of their families. May Allah Azza wa Jal give them comfort in knowing that they're not alone. And people that came before them, people close to Allah, people that Allah loves, also suffered similar tragedy and travesty. May Allah Azza wa Jal give ease and comfort to all of you that have lost loved ones. May Allah give healing to those that are sick and make their pain and suffering a means of their forgiveness. May Allah Azza wa Jal not make us of those who cross His guidance, not in our actions and not even in our thoughts and our emotions. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-hakim. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa khususan ala afdalihim wa khatamin nabiyyin Muhammadin al-Amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. قال الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد أن نقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد عباد الله رحمكم الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون أقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا.